to Medica Nova Wellness Studio. I'm Dr. Angelika Maria Koch with the educational videos about optimal health and the most innovative and holistic approach to your well-being. So today let's explore how you can manage high levels of stress situation with natural and effective therapeutic tools. Right now we are all stretched to our limits, either from the lockdown itself, worries about finances, you maybe lost your job, your kids are at home and now homeschooling is part of your daily routine, and some of you lost a loved one. The list goes on. In my practice, Medica Nova, the caseload of mental health challenges has drastically increased, and it's not uncommon that I hear that sentence, "I'm really worried about the state of the world right now." So in this video, I want to share with you how you can realign and calm down your nervous system so you can navigate through this challenging time with a sense of empowerment, and may I even say with a sense of ease. So enjoy. To stay updated with my ongoing videos, I encourage you to subscribe to my channel, share and like it with your friends and family, and don't forget to click that bell as it notifies you every time I upload a new video. If you're interested in learning more about integrated mental health, health coaching, homeopathy and quantum healing and so much more, have a look at my website medicanova.net at the online academy, where you will find comprehensive certified home study online courses. And if you're interested in a health consultation either for yourself or your children, contact me at health@medicanova.net. I'm happy to help. So let's first talk about the different types of stress. Well, stress is a regular part of life and everyone experiences it from time to time. In some cases, stress can help a person work better under difficult conditions to achieve the goals even. It can be essential too for survival in certain circumstances when the fight and flight response comes in, especially if there's danger involved. However, severe chronic stress that continues for a long time and is not managed well can manifest itself in physical problems. So what I'm trying to say is that stress in itself isn't bad at all. Without it, we wouldn't be motivated to take steps to protect ourselves, to plan for the future, and to perform. So a certain level of stress, and the good stress we call Eustress, helps us to adapt to our environment and pushes us to excel. The stress that is worrisome is chronic stress, and that's really what we experience right now in our world. And that's why I want to make this video and share with you some natural and accessible tools so you can manage it too. So when considering the topic of stress, it's important to distinguish between acute stress and chronic stress. Healthline defines acute stress as your body's immediate reaction to a new challenge, event or demand, while chronic stress happens if those situations are not resolved and allowed to persist for a long periods of time. Now, both long-term and situational stresses can cause more serious mental illness as well. Now, did you know that 75 to 90% of all doctors' office visits are related to stress? I mean, that just proves that there's always a story behind your physical ailment, and 43% of all adults suffer from the adverse effects of stress. So what does chronic stress really do to your body? Well, it can affect you negatively in many ways. Research confirms that elevated cortisol levels in your body can increase susceptibility to some illnesses, sleep deprivation, and even brain shrinkage and memory problems in adults of middle age. So as I said, stress is defined as a state of mental and emotional strain or tension resulting from adverse or very demanding circumstances. So your central nervous system, which is in charge of this fight and flight response, controls levels of stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline that now circulate sort of throughout your body. Your hypothalamus, which is your endocrine gland, is located in your brain, communicates with your adrenal glands to release more stress hormones, and particularly when you feel sort of overwhelmed or threatened. So during the periods of acute stress, this adrenaline and cortisol now floods your body. You have maybe elevated blood pressure, breathing and heart rate increases. And now your body also needs more energy. So more glucose is released into the bloodstream, whereas other parts of the body are now sort of put on hold or a little bit suppressed. That means your digestive system, is sort of slow. Your growth rate, your reproduction, and even your immune system function are now all put on hold. Even the blood flow towards your skin is decreased, but the pain threshold is increased. It typically takes about 90 minutes for the metabolism to return to normal following an acutely stressful event. However, with chronic stress, most people tend to ignore or push down the symptoms until they feel burned out. Right? I'm done, I have a nervous breakdown, I can't go on anymore. So what would be examples for chronic stress? Well, I would say emotional distress, right? Grief, loss of a loved one, PTSD, trauma, right? Abuse, violence, even natural disasters or an accident. If you just received a serious health diagnosis, which includes several visits to the hospital or treatments, illness in itself, particularly if it's painful, financial problems, of course, work stress, unemployment, this feeling overwhelmed with everyday responsibilities now. Emotional stress also can lead to fatigue, and I would say all the healthcare frontline workers right now, the EMTs and the first responders, firefighters, they're really exposed to a lot of stress. Feeling socially isolated is definitely a new symptom, I would say. Family-related stress, often due to feeling short of time or rushed, overwhelmed. War and violence, we have the riots right now, very stressful, packed situations. Relationship problems I already mentioned, but I want to, really underline here again, abuse, divorce, marital problems. Also major life changes, moving your residential home or starting a new demanding professional career, even if it's exciting, can all be part of it. Imprisonment, of course. Injuries that lead to chronic pain. And then we have sort of the internal causes, which are sort of tied to one's mindset. We can say negative thinking, being a pessimist, the guilt, not being good enough, or even being a perfectionist, right? High expectations and pushing the envelope all the time. So according to the American Institute of Stress, chronic distress can cause about 50 symptoms or more, but 5 of them are on the top of the list, which is irritability, anxiety, depression, headaches, and trouble sleeping. Now I would say the list goes on, and we have fatigue, right? A weakened immune system making fighting infections much more difficult. Also increased inflammatory responses within your body. You maybe start having food addictions. Hopefully you not gamble your money away or check out in front of the TV or video games just to dull yourself. Increased chronic pain, stiff neck, right? Tight shoulders, headaches, joint and muscle pain, all part of it. Your metabolic dysfunction is affected. You maybe gain weight, and that has to do because elevated cortisol can trigger accumulation of belly fat and worsens the craving for fat, salt, and sugar. You maybe experience digestive disorders, from colic to your ulcers get worse, your diarrhea and constipation comes up, you experience colitis, bloatedness, and all of that. Insomnia, right, is definitely part of it, and then you end up with irritability as a result of it. Becoming more accident prone, not being able to plan for the future, on making decisions. I mentioned, health problems, but I would say on the list, diabetes, heart attack, stroke, heart disease in general is part of that. Now, stress increases the heart rate, but also it constricts and damages your arteries and therefore produces more inflammatory responses. If you experience asthma attacks, suddenly that can be worsened. reduced sexual desire, or women, their hormone levels are affected, so suddenly they have irregular periods, menstrual changes, PMS. And also when you're stressed, your skin and hair get affected because the elevated cortisol level affect your hair loss. Skin, maybe your eczema gets worse and you see more rashes, as well as infertility problems. So on the emotional level, I would say anger, irritability, mood changes, anxiety, depression, feeling of isolation. On the behavioral aspect, withdrawal from others, using drugs, abuse of alcohol and tobacco, eating excessively, eating disorders come up. You maybe have loss of appetite, right? Or changed sleeping patterns, either too much or too little. Either way. Cognitive level, I would say definitely difficulty in concentration, weak memory, and difficulty in making judgments. We can't always control, sources of stress in our lives, but definitely we can change how we react to them. And the good news is that the human body is actually designed to experience and handle stress. And that is why exactly we react to it so strongly. So according to Jack Martell, Food for Thought today, he says stress itself, in short, is less important than my reaction to it. It can be quite as positive, stimulating, and creative as it can be threatening for my body, depending on my reaction to events and to the underlying emotions. The stressful effect will be beneficial or noxious to me, right? And that's really what I want to stress here. Look for the story behind it. What are your belief systems? Why do you feel threatened? It is important to see that even a happy event can make me experience high stress. So the positive affirmation for today would be, I accept to look inside of me and question my reactions, my motives, and my attitudes, rather than put the blame on external situations. I learn to relax and consider the benefits of stress. So what would be the natural protocols? Well, first of all, I would really boost up your diet. During times of excessive stress, you need a steady supply of nutrients like essential vitamins, trace minerals, healthy fats, electrolytes, amino acid, antioxidants. All are important to help your brain to handle the stress better and therefore benefits your entire body. So with the food, I would bring in high vitamin B rich food, calcium, magnesium rich food, high protein foods. And if you want to take supplements, vitamin B complex would be very advised here, calcium, magnesium as well. And you also want to bring in some healthy fats, omega-3, 6 and 9. A good combination would be it reduces the inflammatory response within your body, it stabilizes your moods, and it also supports your brain function, development of heart health. So omega-3, 6 and 9 would be very, very good, especially the 3s here. What you want to avoid is processed food, sugar, packaged food, too much alcohol, caffeine, and also bad refined vegetables oil. Bring in good organic virgin cold pressed olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil, rich, right, in these lipids. You also want to bring in some, we call it adaptogenic herbs, and they really help to improve your symptoms of anxiety, reducing the effects of stress, particularly the cortisol on the body. The main one is ashwagandha. It's an Ayurvedic herb, and you will find it in your health food store. I would say ginseng as well, maca, you maybe heard. It sort of calms down the hormonal levels. Rhodiola, holy basil, these are all good Ayurvedic herbs as well. And they sort of restore and protect the body, make it easier to handle the stress. You also want to bring in some essential oils. I love lavender, very beautifully, and you put it on the top of your forehead or the parts of your body, maybe your heart too, which feels easily stressed, before you go to bed, or the inside of your wrist, wonderful places. So it really sort of calms down your entire nervous system. Of course, lifestyle changes are important here. Start practicing Qigong, a few minutes in the morning before you start your day, even before you go to bed. A meditation would help here. Breathing exercises, Kundalini yoga, yoga in itself, stretch your body, even dance your heart out. If you want to go into cognitive behavioral therapy, helps, homeopathy, acupuncture, all these beautiful, really, supporting health affirming methodologies are all at our hands, as well as maybe, introducing or cultivate a new hobby, take off your mind a little bit. It all helps. I want to finish this video with my favorite subject, the homeopathic remedies. I think this combo with homeopathic remedies as well as lifestyle changes and supplements would be very effective here. Again, homeopathic system of medicine carries an excellent scope to help a person manage stress. Homeopathic medicines are constitutional remedies. That means they deal with the entirety of the body, the totality, the whole of the body, not just the physical symptom, that work on a deep psychological level to give the best results, particularly in stress management. They help in building stamina to cope with day-to-day stresses of life, and they also help overcome chronic grief that is causing stress. Conditions like depression and anxiety arising from long-standing stress are also treated well with homeopathic medicines. So I want to share with you the main ones you can get hold of and purchase in your local health food store. Nothing too complicated, right? I will give you the keynotes of each remedy, and that will help you to differentiate, because the idea is here that you match the homeopathic remedy with your individual expression of symptoms, right? It's likes cures like. That's the law of homeopathy. We want to find something which is unique to you and the remedy which exhibits this specific symptomatology. Then the magic of homeopathy can be felt and seen quite quickly. And as I said, in the health food store, you will find two potencies. Potency 6 or 30. These are the over-the-counter, liability offered potencies. Choose 30. That's the best one here to go for. And we start with our first remedy called Kali Phos. It's the top remedy added to manage stress here, and it arises from this overstraining of mind at the workplace or home. So it's a remedy for nervous exhaustion, constant state of chaos and worries leading to stress. It's a guiding feature here. It helps to relax the overstrained mind. People needing Kali Phos tend to remain sad, irritable, restless, and maybe oversensitive to noise and light. They tend to feel weak, fatigued, as I said, exhausted is the word here, from minimal exertion. Indifference to life comes in, weak memory. You maybe have stress, headaches, are treated very well with this remedy. It's called Kali Phosphoricum or Kali Phos in short. So the keynotes, what you look out for here is overstrained mind, fatigue, headaches, and even sleeplessness. So anything which has to do with exhaustion, this remedy would be really good. And I would say for adults, Kali Phos 30, take it 1 tablet every 2 to 3 hours for a few days till you feel settled again. Once improvement sets in, don't take it, or if you're in doubt, contact me at health@medicanova.net. I'm happy to help, or your personal healthcare practitioner. I also talked about stress, which is caused from emotions like grief, and in this case the remedy Ignatia amara would be wonderful here. It's indicated medicine for managing stress that stems from grief. Grief over the death of a loved one, disappointment in love that leads to stress is treated well with this remedy. The person is consistently sad thoughts are coming out, weeps bitterly, and also has a desire to be left alone. They often sob in the night, or in general, they sigh a lot, like this kind of thing you can see a lot. Changeable moods where the person laughs or weeps in quick succession. Indifference into things in person loved in the past. You just lose the joie de vivre. Nothing really excites you anymore. Discouragement, mental and physical exhaustion, dullness of the mind. And also comprehension, is a little bit difficult. They just have their mind somewhere else. And needless to say, then they feel frightened easily or tend to have restless sleeps. Often there's loss of appetite involved, and muscle twitches even. So anything that has to do with grief, loss, feeling sad, right? Or you can't be with your family members right now, you feel homesick. That's a great remedy for that. The keynote is stress from grief, continuous sadness and weeping, and mental and physical exhaustion. The third remedy in line is called Natrum muriaticum, or Natrum mur in short. You will get it in your health food store, just ask for it. And here it gets a little bit deeper. And here we talk about stress that really is caused by depression or leads to depression. So it's not just loss or grief, but depression. And here the person wants to be alone, aversion to talking, weeping, in loneliness. Consolation tends to worsen. They don't want to hug, or they don't want a company. They just want to deal with it by themselves, but they withdraw. Remember I mentioned in the beginning we have behavioral symptoms. When the people withdraw and isolate, that would be a good remedy for that. They have aversion to doing any work, whether physical or mental. They can be anxious, hopeless about the future. They become also absent-minded, suffer from weakness of memory, again dullness of the mind, difficult thinking, and they can have in the evening like palpitations, fluttering of the heart when they get anxious and worried about things. It's also good for hair loss, right, resulting from stress and depression. So it's a wonderful remedy. So do you see homeopathy is so effective here, because it's not just dealing with the physical symptoms, but with the core essence. And stress has multiple expressions, and that's why we need individual medicine. So the keynotes with Natrum mur is definitely desire for loneliness, aversion to work, hair loss from stress would be a good one. There are other remedies, and I quickly mentioned them. Arsenicum album would be one of them, and here it leads to anxiety. Anxiety with extreme restlessness, overthinking, with several thoughts crowding the mind, a fear of death, even trembling, cold sweat, facial flushing. I have people coming in, they said, oh God, I have a COVID test and I'm positive. And now the world is based on anxiety and panic, right? They need Arsenicum album because the immune system now gets affected. So they have maybe constriction of the chest, difficulty breathing. Anxiety attacks are very prevalent. People with asthma attacks are really benefiting from these remedies right now. Again, we have exhaustion, but it's based on anxiety. If it goes into panic attacks, right, to the point that, God, you can't handle the situation at all, and you have extreme anxiety with restlessness, hurriedness, along with intense palpitation, you even have the feeling, I'm going to die right now. Aconitum nappelus is a wonderful remedy. Aconitum, or aconite for short, you find it in your health food store. You just need to know how to apply these remedies. If your mind is overstimulated, right, you lie in bed and you just can't sleep, you feel wired non-stop, Coffea cruda. It's called Coffea, it's made from coffee beans. It's like this feeling as you have drunk like 5 cups of coffee and you can't sleep. Great remedy. excessive thoughts flow through the mind constantly and lead to sleeplessness. Palpitations may be present. Person tosses about in bed from side to side. There's nervousness, restlessness, lamenting over trifles even, oversensitivity, irritability because they can't sleep, right? So Coffea is a wonderful remedy. Again, the potency 30. The last remedy I want to mention here is called Nux vomica 30. It's a prominent medicine indicated for stress accompanied by irritability and anger outbursts. Remember I mentioned the anger as well? Nux vomica is really great for people who are type A person, workaholics, work all the time. You know, they get angered easily, definitely no sense of tolerance or patience. They get offended easily, quarrelsome, oversensitive to noise, of course, right, or smell. They do have anxiety too, but it comes from this place of, just, burn the candle on both ends, so to say. They really love their glass of scotch in the evening or gourmet food. Again, excess. Anything but excess. Excess work, excess food, excess whatever. It's a great remedy for that. And they even would go, as I said, for drugs. It's less just to calm down the nervous system. So Nux vomica, also needless to say, these people have digestive problems, right? Flatulence, bloatedness, constipation, big deal here. So in closing of this more educational video today, I wish you the very best in navigating through this challenging time with ease and also with joy. Don't forget joy. Don't forget to smile. And as always, if you have further questions and need more advice, contact me at health@medicanova.net or my website medicanova.net or your local health care practitioner, and I'm happy to help you. Now leave your comments below. I appreciate again if you continue to subscribe to my channel, share and like it with your friends and family. It just helps me to grow my channel. So till next time, much love, and just, take a minute of peace inside. I know you can do it. Take care.